Julie Gunlock, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there, but please never say the word moist in front of me again. It's like the worst, gross word.
It's a terrible word,
You
right?
better give her a backstory on that one,
It's a
Carrie.
disgusting word. I don't want the backstory because it'll mean you'll say it.
No, I won't say it. I won't say the word. So Carrie Lightfoot from the Well-Armed Woman talked about the fact that women are sponges, as opposed to men, because you guys you listen better, you follow directions better, you learn more, and you collect this information like a sponge.
Soak up information.
You soak up information. Unlike men who are dry, crusty sponges who
I don't really like crusty either. Let's just move on.
Crusty? What's wrong with crusty?
I have a whole lot of words that I don't like, and
That's so
crusty is
weird.
one of them. I also don't like chunk. Chunk's gross.
You know what, Gunlock?
Chunk?
You are so high maintenance, it's ridiculous.
Wasn't there a candy bar called like a Chunky or
Chunky
something?
bar.
Yeah.
Gross. Let's move on.
All right, let's move on.
Can we move on? Can I follow up from the conversation or do a remember we were talking about the conversation about the pesticides?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so that led to some really interesting conversations with my daughter, and we were sharing knowledge. She was talking to me about, she's doing research for her AP class about plastics and other stuff like that, and recycling, and then I was talking to her about the pesticides and the organic food stuff. So that was Julie Gunlock, that was an eye-opener for me, so thank you. I'm looking more into that. So
Well, listen, have her call me if she has any questions.
Oh, and she probably will. She's like a sponge.
Yes.
Oh,
She's a
yeah.
sponge. Not a fill-in-the-blank sponge.
Careful.
Hey.
Let's not go back down that road.
Hey, Julie. So I saw this tweet today, and I immediately thought of you. And I'm so happy we're having you on the show. This is from Emily Peck, who's a Huffington Post senior reporter on gender and economics. So you know she's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't even need to read the article. Just the tweet alone. Rubio's plan, obviously talking about Marco Rubio, now the quotes start, perpetuates the idea that child rearing is an individual, not a collective responsibility.
Oh, my God. How dare Rubio?
Right?
How dare him? Oh, that's great. And you know, Rubio's plan is Rubio's bill is the plan that IWF proposed, our brilliant senior fellow, Kristen Shapiro.
Mm-hmm.
This is the paid leave proposal, which would allow people to dip into their Social Security plans. Because, hey, I sure would like to see a little of that money when I'm young and when it's still available to me. And, this is not like some wild thing. Oh, you drain all of your Social Security. It's, you take about 6 to 8 weeks, whatever you want. There's a limit, but you take whatever amount of weeks you want, and then the trade-off is that you have to work a few extra weeks on the back end. So, you might have to work 12 more weeks before retirement. That's not going to kill anyone. And, you think about it, Social Security is set up for your old age, but there's an awful lot of people who, particularly part-time workers who don't have any kind of leave programs through their employers and would really like to dip into a little bit of their savings, and it's their money. They should be able to do it. So, but you're right. That tweet is pretty remarkable. I assume that what was her name?
Emily Peck, gender and economics reporter.
It takes a village.
Well, of course.
Hand your children over to the public schools. Hand your children over to any kind of social service agency to care for them. Isn't that scary?
Well, I mean, thankfully, if you look at the tweet, the responses are overwhelmingly, what the hell are you talking about, lady? I mean, you're ridiculous. So it's good that she's getting a lot of pushback.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing, just the way that she wrote that, you perpetuate the idea. And she's quoting the New York Times, but it says, but obviously, I'm going to imagine she agrees with it, but the fact that you perpetuate the idea that child rearing is not a collective responsibility and put it in a denigratory manner.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
Well, what's so interesting about these people? Emily Peck, I'm sure. Look, I don't know her. I have no idea who she is. But it's interesting when liberals, they believe in the collective, right? They believe in this sort of it takes a village, and yet they do everything they can to break down community clubs and groups and churches and charities and food banks and things like they want everything to turn to the government. Everything's the government's job. It can't be a church that helps people out. It can't be a community club, charitable club that helps people out. It always has to be the government. And so it's interesting when you realize that a lot of these people have helped to break down the very fiber of community, the very things that make a community. They don't appreciate, and really they don't appreciate. They want, again, like I said, they want everything to be handled by the government.
Julie, so there was this other story I wanted to get your take on. Then I want to talk about some things you wrote about this week. We got this. We talked about this with Carrie Lifo, but I want to get your take on this too because it's so typical of this media and this topic. This is from our friends at Breitbart. The title is CBS this morning had a millennial women panel. It only included one gun owner, and she voted for Hillary and supports more gun control.
How do you find that person, by the way?
I know.
It's CBS. They'll find him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, the media is really funny on these issues. A couple of years back, the New York Times had hosted a future of farming panel. Okay, the future of farming. And these are fascinating topics. I would love. I'm kind of working on IWF hosting a future of ag, future of innovation in agriculture panel myself. So I love these subjects. And so I was sort of curious. And I thought, oh, gosh, what farmers have they invited on this panel? And I don't want to – it wasn't just one panel. It was like a whole day. It was like a conference, okay? So there's a lot of opportunity there for them to invite farmers. There wasn't one farmer, not one. There were a lot of hipster restaurant owners. And the closest thing it came to a farmer was some dude who runs this. He's like some big shot chef, right? Celebrity chef. And he has like a couple acres on his farm.
Yes.
Micro farm.
And his restaurant it's something in New Hampshire or something. He has a couple acres and he goes out there and he harvests his baby arugula, right? and his teeny tiny cherry tomatoes and whatever. And so that he was the closest to, and actually like that, God bless. At least they had some guy who actually got his hands dirty.
Right.
And I tweeted about it. I didn't tweet. I wrote a blog about it, and it was a popular blog because, especially with the farming community, because here you have the New York Times, right, the paper of record, talking about the future of food, and don't include and of course the future, because look, the future of food to the New York Times restaurant people and columnists and Nick Kristof and all these folks is organic. Everybody has a victory garden in their backyard. There's no scary agrochemicals used. None of those, tractors. It's all like, it's like a horse, and like some guy with like an Amish-style beard. It's all like, then they go in, the wife is canning things. It's just like very idyllic kind of image. And so, but it's the same kind of thing, right? You have one gun owner. She's for gun control. She's probably never really shot a gun. It's very typical of these kind of publications to do that type of thing.
Hey, can I digress just for a second and we get back on track here? I was just doing my prep for this interview with Julie, looking at her.
And Julie, he did hours of prep for this interview.
I did. I just did this 5 minutes ago.
You're a challenging interview, Gunlock.
How was part of that prep not don't say the M word? Okay, but go ahead.
So
now you know.
I'm looking at your Twitter feed, and for someone who appeared in the play and sang the song, I love your retweet of "I Can't Stop Singing Omarosa" to the tune of Oklahoma.
Omarosa. I can't stop saying it.
It's the greatest. Thank you for sharing that.
It is. Thank you. Yeah.
I'll be singing that in the car on the way home.
Hey, Julie, talk about our favorite topic, vegans, because they're fun. I saw this story through you, and I think on one of your tweets. They say that 4-H, which is hands, heart, was it something in health? What's the fourth H?
The 4-H promotes child abuse. Now, this was not written by me. This was by a staffer at IWF named Betsy Pearson, and she writes a weekly Millennial Monday column, which is pretty funny because she herself is a millennial, but she likes to make fun of millennials, which is my favorite kind of
you
millennial.
Love her.
Yeah, I love her. Anyway, so Betsy wrote this great piece on vegans claim that 4-H is child abuse, right? And she's talking about this viral video, of course, produced by a vegan, right? And he's so vegan. He looks like he needs a blood transfusion, right? He looks weak and angry. But his point was that signing up your children for 4-H is child abuse, right? And his whole point. I mean, I'm not really going to go into it because he's nuts, and he's the kind of guy who calls 4-H a terrorist organization, right? But he goes on to say that you're teaching children. That you're teaching them how to hurt animals. Well, 4-H is a really great organization that teaches actual animal husbandry. It teaches how to actually care for animals. And I have never met bigger animal rights advocates than farmers and ranchers and, people who, run dairy farms. These people care. And look, they care for a couple reasons. First of all, they love their animals. But secondly, their animals make them money.
Yeah,
okay?
their business depends on it.
They depend on it. And, I've worked with, child is walking in the room. I'm on the radio. Be quiet.
We don't want a BBC moment.
Yes, here's a little BBC moment. Now the door is shutting again. Excellent. Okay. So I work with some of these folks, and I know a lot of these folks, and I know that they care. And this is the same for farmers. They care about the land because the land is their source of income. And so they have to care for the land. They have to be good to the land.
Oh, hey, Julie, your phone I think your kid came in and sabotaged your phone.
It sounds all robotic-y now.
Oh, can you hear me now?
No.
You can't hear me?
We can hear
I
you.
can hear you. You sound like a robot.
You sound like Max Headroom.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Okay.
It's like a Verizon commercial.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
No, we can hear. We can hear you. It's very weird robotic
Distortion.
It's very strange.
Oh, God.
That's wild.
We did get a moment. We got our moment.
Yeah, here's our BBC moment.
There it is.
Julie Gunlock turned into a robot.
My child has that one nose, and so he sabotaged the phone, so I have to hang up.
All right.
Thank you, Julie.
Thanks, Julie.
I'm sorry. This
It's
is
okay.
terrible.
No. Oh, wait. Hold on. It just cleared up.
Wait, it cleared up?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's weird.
The
Anyway,
robot left the room.
the robot the room. Anyway, so look, these vegans, they constantly put out hysterical information. Environmental groups put out hysterical information about farmers. We just recently had a lawsuit found against Monsanto, who is the producer of Roundup and glyphosate, which is the active ingredient in Roundup. And this new lawsuit is awarded, millions and millions of dollars to a man who suffers from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. We have, hundreds of studies showing the safety of glyphosate. We have studies on 50,000 farm workers who've never shown any signs of cancer. The courts are not the place. The courts are a very bad place to decide these very complicated science issues. And so these environmental groups, these vegans, these organizations, they tend to really profit off that. They tend to really try to promote the idea that farmers are dangerous, and all farming sort of traditions are dangerous, and those who raise animals for both slaughter and also dairy cows for milking are cruel. It sort of attracts a certain group of people.
Hey, Julie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Now your phone's back. We're up against a hard break.
I'm sorry. I'm going on and on.
Yeah, that's quite all right. We love it, but we'd stay on longer. We got a hard break here. Julie Gunlock, go check our whole stuff at IWF.org or Jay Gunlock on the Twitters.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Julie.